This is Mustard, and you're listening to the Literati Records Podcast.
Episode 65 of the Literati Records Podcast. I'm Marcus, the host of this here shindig, and I want to thank you for tuning in, turning on, and supporting independent music. Well, you knew it was coming. August is here, and the official countdown to Labor Day and the inevitable end of summer has already begun for some folks. But for Colorado music fans, August and September are loaded with festivals. Last weekend was the awesome Life's a Beach Festival, which was packed with local talent. And coming up this weekend, Saturday, August 10th, is the huge Psychedelic Light and Sound Festival going on at Larimer Lounge and Meadowlark. If you dig the Gathering of the Clouds Festival that goes on in the spring, then you will not want to miss this festival. Tons of great local acts, and a few from Austin, Texas, and abroad. This show will rock your face off. I will add a link to more details in the show notes on our website at www.literatirecords.com. Since it appears I've already started in on the announcements, let's just forge ahead and knock those out. Once again, we never heard back from our monthly cash prize winner for June, so with the new month comes a new winner. If your email address starts with TurtleHeat, you are the July $100 cash prize winner. Just email us from that account to Literati at LiteratiRecords.com to claim your prize. Once again, if your email address starts with TurtleHeat, TurtleHy, you are the July $100 cash prize winner. Just email us from that account to Literati at LiteratiRecords.com to claim your prize. If you'd like a chance to win our $100 cash giveaway for August, just head over to our website at www.literatirecords.com and use the giveaway link to get entered. There are a few rules and guidelines for entry, so be sure to look those over as well. I also want to encourage you to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. We like to use those social media platforms to interact more directly with the independent music community. Just last weekend, we were giving away tickets to the Radke Show at Summit Music Hall on our Facebook page, and we are going to be using Facebook and Twitter more and more in the future to give away tickets to shows, band merchandise, prize packs, etc. So be on the lookout for that stuff. Okay, I think that does it for today's housekeeping. Now let's meet our featured guest, local Denver rock band Mustard. There's two important things you need to know about Mustard. One, they enjoy playing a heavy retro rock style with tones reminiscent of bands like Kyuss, Fu Manchu, and Blue Cheer. Number two, they don't care to sing about their feelings. They prefer to play self-described comic book rock, rife with escapist themes based in science fiction, the Old West, bank heists, and American muscle cars. Bottom line, Mustard prefers to entertain than complain, and if the smiling faces present at their shows are any indication, mission accomplished. All the music on today's show is from their 2013 release, Classic Yellow. You can find a complete track listing in the show notes on our website at www.literatirecords.com. Now, kick back and prepare to escape into the comic book world of Mustard. All right, I'm out on a Friday night here at Bushwhackers, where the band Mustard is going to be taking the stage in a little bit. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. Excellent. Awesome.
Well, for those who might not be familiar with the band, let's go around and get names and instruments, starting on my left.
I'm Brandon, playing drums.
I'm Joe, I play guitar, do a little vocals.
I'm Kyle, do guitar, a little trumpet, and some vocals.
My name's CJ, I do keys, I do bass, I do some vocals. It's pretty awesome.
And Lou on bass and vocals and sometimes a little guitar.
Well, Kyle, could you fill us in a little bit on a brief history of the band and how it formed?
Well, it started me and CJ here. It was originally just the two of us and a drummer. Actually, the drummer who's sharing the stage with us in a different band, the Jake Cade Project tonight, that's Dave Dyer. It started the three of us, just pretty much songs that me and CJ wrote. We just wanted to do something that was rocking out, something different than what was being on the radio at the time. This is like late 2009. Our first show is at Auraria campus in February 2010 for a political rally that was about student finance. So anyway, we have been through a few personnel changes. We've picked up some people. Obviously, we're no longer a three-piece, we're a five-piece. We brought in Joe Breslin, an old high school buddy of mine, on guitar. We brought in Lou Santos. He's an excellent utility man, extra guy. He does a lot of good vocals. He can move around on bass, guitar, even keys once in a while. Then we just recently picked up Brandon as our new drummer. So far we've been going the Spinal Tap route of changing out our drummer every few years. But Brandon's really good. This is his first show with us, and we hope he sticks around.
Well, congratulations on the release of your recent album, Classic Yellow. Where did you guys record it at?
Kyle Zender's basement.
Yeah, Kyle Zender Studios in Inglewood. We also recorded some of it at 150 Studios with Evan Chavez. That's in Lakewood, Colorado.
Completely self-produced and engineered?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's very good. It definitely gives a nod to classic rock tones and bands like Clutch and Kyuss. I mean, I can hear some of those kinds of tones in there.
That's what we sure.
How would you characterize your sound?
I always think of it like vintage, heavy, cinematic rock.
I think that's great. Yeah, forward, whatever.
We have
summary.
in-depth stories behind our songs about, space adventures or chicks who rob banks, and we like to have like the classic vibe, but we like to get loud and like let
Right.
it roll
Yeah.
sometimes.
I think I used to call it like comic book rock or something, basically things that you'd either see out of like Tales from the Crypt or Amazing Stories or something like that,
I always kind of look at it like as if, let's say, Simon and Garfunkel were hired to write the soundtrack for the new Natural Born Killers sequel, and then they went on a coke-induced binge and bender, and then they decided to kill a hooker, and then the studio decided to hire Deep Purple to write the soundtrack.
I like that.
Actually, that's pretty good, yeah.
So it's a little bit like The Hangover?
Something like that.
Kind of.
Sonic Hank.
Well, you guys got some really great tracks on it. Hard Revvin' Girl and Swift Hound being two of my favorites. But I also really like the three-song trilogy that you guys put together. Can you give us a story behind the inspiration for that?
Yeah, actually, I'll take that one because early on in our history, me and CJ had an idea of doing a concept album that was going to be about this sci-fi captain named Captain Waldo who had a spaceship. And the project ended up getting scrapped. All that we had left was the first song, the last song, or maybe that was the second to first song, and a little, instrumental interlude. And none of them actually mentioned Captain Waldo by name. So we just decided to mash them up, turn it into a three-piece suite of songs, and it's Space Trilogy. And then it's, since we've brought Lou on, we've changed it up a little bit, added some more things, some keyboards in there now, where there weren't originally.
When I joined, I remember seeing like the last other version of before we did Castle Bravo, when it was like space prison transport.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Song.
That's right. It was a different middle song originally. That's true. Yeah.
And then at some point,
and that was
jammed out. We were just like, dude.
And actually, that was a Dave Dyer song. So yeah, we switched that out. Yeah, fun fact. And it was a pain in the butt because I had to retune to drop D for it, and it didn't.
That's right.
Didn't work.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
So, but yeah, so that was it was a idea way too big of a bite to chew. So we made it work though. Yeah, yeah.
The Interstellar
Dominatrix. I mean,
that,
that really has
captures,
tones of Barbarella meets Flash Gordon type
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were going for.
Well, you guys are going to get up and be rocking the stage here in a little bit. As musicians and performers, what kind of vibe or energy do you hope to get across to your audience?
Energetic, makes you want to get up, dance if you want to. You don't have to dance well. You just shake your body, convulse on the floor, whatever,
Or you could just nod your head and go,
Yeah, the head
I'm into that.
Yeah,
It's a refreshing throwback kind of sound. It's not something you hear all the time.
Yeah, and we really
gets people's attention and just gets them being like, that's what rock is supposed to be.
Well, some of the comic book elements, it sounds like you got some escapism going on there.
Absolutely.
Forget about your
all have
regular life and just kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I think initially
I
I laid down a couple of ground rules, for when we were composing and writing our songs and stuff. It was like, all right, number one, we're not going to really sing songs about our feelings,
Yeah, no getting dumped type
my
of songs.
girlfriend dumped me, and I'm so sad, and, the world's a shitty place. And, No, it's going to be just... Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like there's enough of the market, saturated with that kind of thing that, let's bring back the dragons. Let's bring back,
we
crime
that's
novels.
A good call.
Let's
we
bring
totally
back,
need a medieval song.
Vikings.
Oh, well, I guess Wizard is
Wizard is like an update on a medieval theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there with I felt that a lot in the past 10 years or so of music, 15 even. It's just this oversaturation of indie rock and other stuff that's just really bearing their soul and talking about their feelings, and they're really serious and artsy, and we really wanted to move
Not
against
that there's
current.
anything wrong with that.
There isn't.
I mean,
But we wanted
it just goes towards a different
We just
audience,
wanted to focus on bringing the fun back to rock and roll.
Take me back to Stonehenge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I believe rock music should be fun. So that's what I'm into. Fun rock.
Well, are there any upcoming shows that you guys want to plug?
Yeah, well, we're going to be playing at Bushwhackers on South Broadway, just a block north of Evans. Easy to find. We're also going to be playing here again on August 17th.
August 17th.
Well, that sort of leads right into my next question. Who are some of your favorite local artists and other bands that you like to play with?
Let's see, Wolf Girl's a good one. that
Wolf
we played
Girl's great.
with.
I think they've been on hiatus a little bit, but they're a great band if you get a chance to check them out. We did our CD release show recently with Secretly Supervised. They're good friends of ours.
Professor
Greenhouse.
Professor Greenhouse was great.
The Peaceful Peaches.
Peaceful Peaches. They're from Mounds. They've always been good friends of ours.
Blame Gravity is some friends of mine. Totally good stuff.
Yep. Also, Electric Sunday. They're out of Montana. We're looking to get some touring and stuff going with them in the future. So they're definitely worth checking out.
And We Are Erased for the metalheads. Any metalheads out there?
Yeah, if you're
Check
into
out the We
super
Are
grindy
Erased.
music, our friends in We Are Erased will do you right.
Old band of mine.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like the show's getting ready to start. We got the first band on stage. Guys, I want to thank you for taking time to meet with us and get us caught up on what's going on in the mustard camp.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great show tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
scream.